Discover the incredible transformation that exposed my daughter-in-law's shocking decision. Martha Thompson stood in her kitchen, the familiar aroma of freshly baked apple pie mingling with the scent of coffee, but today it felt different. As she rolled the dough, her mind raced with thoughts that had become all too familiar, thoughts of her daughter-in-law Lisa, and the distance that had crept into their relationship. Was Lisa truly committed to the family? Or was she too enmeshed in the corporate world that Martha had always viewed with skepticism? The photographs on the wall, a collage of laughter and milestones, whispered memories of simpler times. Yet, as Martha glanced at Jake's smiling face, a cloud of uncertainty shadowed her heart. The tension between ambition and family loyalty weighed heavily on Martha, stirring a deep unease. Lisa was everything she'd hoped for when Jake brought her home. With her sharp wit and successful career, Lisa seemed like the perfect match. But lately, conversations had turned into monologues about marketing strategies and client pitches, leaving little space for the family connections Martha held dear. Beneath Lisa's self-assured exterior, Martha sensed an unsettling hunger for recognition, a craving that extended beyond the boardroom into their family gatherings, causing her to question whether they could ever truly bond. As Martha placed the pie in the oven, she recalled the last family dinner when Lisa had hurriedly excused herself to take an urgent call. That nagging feeling of being brushed aside bit harder than the biting autumn air outside. Was Lisa losing sight of what mattered? The values of loyalty and sacrifice that was what had kept the Thompson family together. Every time Martha saw the subtle changes in Lisa, from her distracted glances to her missed invitations, a cold fear laid roots within her chest. Who was this woman, and did she even want to be a part of their family? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the confrontation began with an unsettling quietness, the kind that clings to the air like fog. Martha's heart dipped as she sat at the kitchen table, the antique shop's future lingering at the edge of her mind. Lisa's proposal to modernize the shop nagged at her, making her chest tight and limbs restless. This shop was more than just a place to sell trinkets. It was a sanctuary of memories, a testament to familial bonds, and a cornerstone of their history. How could Lisa justify selling it? The thought made her stomach twist. Moments later, Martha found herself face to face with Lisa, the clinking of spoons against plates setting an unspoken tension. You can't just change things because they don't fit your vision, Martha blurted, her voice rising. Lisa's brow furrowed, her confident demeanor cracking as she met Martha's piercing gaze. But Mom, think about the future. In that moment, Martha felt an overwhelming wave of anguish. What future was Lisa talking about? The woman who had once seemed to embrace the Thompson legacy now viewed it as a transaction. Martha's mouth felt dry. Her resolve wavered as she grappled with the encroaching feeling of loss, not just of the shop, but perhaps of her daughter-in-law. With Lisa's eyes glistening with unshed tears, a heavy silence fell between them. Would loyalty always come at the cost of ambition? The weight of their shared history hung in the air, electrifying and threatening. As Lisa opened her mouth, ready to defend her ambitions, a sudden buzz erupted from Martha's phone, a notification that could alter everything. Martha's heart raced as she glanced at the screen, the glowing notification illuminating her apprehension. It was a message from an old family friend, Linda, who had always believed in the importance of local legacy. The text mentioned a potential buyer for the antique shop, a wealthy investor who specialized in transforming quaint businesses into sleek, modern retail spaces. The words hit her like a jolt of electricity, igniting something within that had long been dormant. In the silence that followed, she sensed Lisa's growing curiosity, the tension morphing into something more like shared anxiety. What did it say? Lisa asked, peering at her phone with a mix of concern and intrigue. Martha hesitated, the conflict swirling within her chest like a tempest. Revealing the potential sale felt like admitting defeat. But hiding the truth would not only deepen the chasm between them, it would also undermine the trust she hoped would grow. Linda thinks there's someone interested in buying the shop, was all she managed her voice a whisper of uncertainty mixed with anger. Lisa's eyes narrowed, but there was also something else: recognition. Isn't that what we were talking about? A chance to pivot and modernize? The fervor in her voice mirrored the ambition that had sowed the seeds of competition between them. Martha's throat tightened. This place is a part of our family, it's not a business to be maneuvered about for profit. Her emotions surged to the surface, frustration erupting. You want a future, but at what cost? The shop isn't just an asset. It's our history. The conversation hung between them, palpable and charged. The gravity of it forced Martha to confront her discomfort about Lisa's drive. Was it ambition that had taken Lisa away from what Martha valued? Or was it Martha's fear of change that bridged the divide? She wrestled with the realization that maybe they both were, in their ways, trying to carve a path forward, just different paths altogether. As Lisa pressed her lips together, the tension shifted into contemplation. For me it's about making something greater, Lisa admitted, vulnerability slicing through her corporate confidence. I want to honor what you've built, but also create a legacy that can thrive in a new world. Can't we combine those dreams? For the first time, Martha felt a spark of understanding. Was it possible to evolve without erasing the past? The idea was as unnerving as it was intriguing. Her resolve began to crack as she confronted her assumptions, the visions of loss transforming into opportunities for growth. Perhaps we can find a way to bridge our views, she said, testing the waters of compromise. The words surprised her, each syllable carrying a weight. But it won't happen overnight. I need time to process this, time for us to find common ground. Lisa's expression softened, and as the tension eased, hope flickered in the air. It was a mere crack in the wall between them, but a crack nonetheless. I can work with that, Lisa replied, her voice steadier, but the question still lingered: would their collaboration flourish or further fracture their bond? Martha took a deep breath, letting the air fill her lungs with possibility. Yet as she watched Lisa's determined eyes, a flicker of fear ignited. The risk of losing the shop was only one battle. Navigating the complexities of their evolving relationship felt like stepping into uncharted territory. Would they end up building something new together? Or would ambition eclipse their familial ties? As realization dawned that the path forward would require a delicate balance, Martha's phone pinged again. A similar notification, a news alert about corporate takeovers, mocked her purging thoughts. She braced herself. This journey might unveil deeper truths about ambition, love, and what it truly means to belong. But just as she prepared to address that impending emotional shift, the doorbell rang, echoing against her sudden sense of clarity and uncertainty. Who could it be now? Martha turned toward the door, the unexpected chime pulling her from her deeply rooted reflections. Her heartbeat quickened, not from the anticipation of answering but from an anxious curiosity that intertwined with her thoughts about the shop, her relationship with Lisa, and where her life now stood. She took a moment to gather herself, straightening her dress and smoothing her hair before stepping into the entryway. Opening the door revealed a swirl of chilly autumn air and the unexpected presence of Linda, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Martha!" she exclaimed, stepping inside as if her mere presence could warm the entire room. "I thought I'd drop by." "Linda, hi. What brings you here?" Martha's voice tightened, unsure if this visit would bring clarity or another blow to her already tumultuous thoughts. "I wanted to talk more about the shop. Our last conversation has kept me up at night thinking about what you have there," Linda urged, her expression a mixture of enthusiasm and urgency that made Martha's stomach churn. The images of her shop played in her mind, a trove of memories, authenticity, and dignity. "It's still ours, Linda," she said, as her defensiveness bubbled to the surface. "Not everything needs to change." Linda's brow furrowed thoughtfully. "But what if there's a way to honor that legacy while also embracing the future? I know a few investors who would respect that." Her determination implied genuine belief in the synergy of tradition and innovation. But Martha met her words with immediate doubt. "Investors?" Martha echoed, feeling the old walls of expectation closing in on her. "What does that mean for our history?" "Change doesn't mean abandoning your roots," Linda replied, her voice steady but insistent. "You've created something beautiful, but the world is evolving. The way forward may mean finding ways to adapt creatively." Martha clenched her fists at her sides, heart pounding in defiance. She had always trusted Linda, but now every suggestion felt like a betrayal. Are you willing to see the shop turned into a metallic shell of its former self? What about the stories, the customers who cherish a sense of belonging? Stories can continue, Linda insisted, just in a new format. You want to preserve the shop, don't you? The question brought a wave of clarity. Martha had been avoiding its implications. What did she truly want? The warmth of familiar faces filling her shop, or the comfort of knowing she had navigated an ever-evolving landscape? I need time to think, Martha said firmly, her voice measured but tinged with frustration. This isn't easy for me, and I can't take the step back into complacency, nor can I leap into the unknown blindly. This is about family, history, and trust. Before I can even think of investors, I need to figure out my own path. Linda nodded, her understanding evident, yet Martha could sense the weight of her unspoken urgency. I just hope you consider what's at stake, she replied quietly. Watching her friend leave, Martha was left facing a different kind of turmoil. As momentum shifted, she realized she was standing on a precipice. Change was inevitable, she knew that. But could she shape that change without losing everything she valued? The next few days morphed into a whirlwind of contemplation, interspersed with moments of fear and flashes of determination. How to protect her identity while still embracing possibility. Her mind spun with unanswered questions as she sat behind the counter at the antique shop, examining an old photo of her great-grandparents standing proudly before their own modest business. A legacy, yes, but one that had to be tended to, almost like a garden. If not nurtured, it could wither, and perhaps her greatest challenge lay ahead in figuring out how to thrive without losing what rooted her. Could this be the moment when she discovered her own hidden talents for innovation? As she pulled her phone from her pocket, the glow of the screen illuminated the looming decisions ahead, and the nagging voice inside her urged her to start reaching out to explore how to merge her dreams with Lisa's. But where to begin? With a lump in her throat and a burst of sudden clarity, she dialed a number she hesitated to call. It could lead to a surprising alliance or a deepening divide. As the phone rang, the tension grew. Was she ready to confront her fears, or would this decision tip her relationship with Lisa into darkness? The line clicked and a familiar voice answered, setting into motion a chain of events that could redefine everything for better or worse. Martha. Lisa's voice broke through the static of the call, tinged with surprise and the faintest edge of apprehension. Hi Lisa. It's Martha, she managed to say, but her throat felt tight, as if each word held the weight of her internal conflict. I wanted to talk about the shop. The pause was heavy, and she could almost hear Lisa's heartbeat through the phone. Is everything okay? You sound different. Martha swallowed hard, steeling herself for the confrontation that loomed on the horizon. It's just everything's been pretty overwhelming. Linda came by and suggested possibly bringing in investors, and it made me think about our future. I wanted to get your thoughts. There was a moment of silence, a deep inhale from Lisa as she processed the information. Investors? But why would we need that? Don't you remember our plan? We agreed to keep it in the family, just us. Martha winced, the urgency of her emotions drumming against her chest. I know. But I've been feeling this pressure to adapt or risk losing everything. I feel like without changing we could keep sinking. Or we could thrive just the way we are, Lisa retorted, a note of frustration evident in her tone. Why don't we trust what we have? You're my family and we share this journey together. The words stung deeply, but Martha realized they came from a place of fear of change, fear of losing their shared legacy. Trusting what we have isn't enough anymore, Lisa. The world is moving on and we have to find a way to keep up. I love the shop, but I want to see if we can honor our history while also embracing the future. Lisa was quiet again, and the silence felt like an abyss. Martha's mind raced, each heartbeat pounding the unfamiliar reality of their different perspectives. Was she ready to bridge this widening gap? Or was she standing on an edge that would fracture their bond? Let us meet, Lisa finally said, her voice softer, yet filled with an underlying tension. Let us talk about this face to face. Martha felt a mixture of relief and anxiety as she agreed. A meeting could serve as the turning point or the tipping scale. What lay ahead would challenge everything they had built together. After they hung up, Martha's mind spun with possibilities, revising their plans, drafting proposals, creating a vision board that balanced their dreams with the demands of reality. But she also felt the pressure of potential failure. Would they fight for their shop? Or would this lead them to a breaking point? With newfound resolve, she grabbed a notebook from the counter. The crisp pages felt both daunting and inviting, like a blank canvas awaiting her strokes. Making a list of ideas sparked a flicker of excitement within her, nudging her away from despair. Martha began to think practically. Her travels over the years had introduced her to diverse styles and shifting market trends. She could adapt her vision while maintaining the heart of their shop. This could be her chance to unlock hidden skills and combine tradition with innovation. Each note transformed into a combination of sketches and thoughts, revealing an intricate web of potential. But lurking in the background was a prevailing question: what would Lisa think? Would her friend embrace the change, or would the opposition darken the space between them forever? Closing the notebook, Martha glanced around the shop, capturing the warmth and nostalgia embedded in its very walls. She envisioned an enhanced version, one where history would breathe alongside contemporary choices. Yet as excitement pulsed at her fingertips, an uneasy thought crept in. Would Lisa fight for the past or join her in redefining the future? The meeting approached with an air of tension, both exhilarating and terrifying. The stakes felt higher than ever as she focused on the reality of their conversation ahead. Martha's mind lingered on a single idea. What awaited her down this unpredictable road? No longer was it just about the shop. It was about the heart of their relationship itself, and the pivotal decision that lay ahead beckoned with a chilling urgency. Would their forthcoming dialogue reinforce their alliance, or would it sever their bond forever? Martha arrived at the café, clutching her notebook like a lifeline. The place was bustling, but the hum of conversation faded into a dull roar as her concentration turned inward. She was rapidly approaching a precipice, and the sense of impending confrontation gripped her like a vice. Each step felt heavier than the last as she approached their usual table, every heartbeat amplified by doubt. Would Lisa even entertain Martha's ideas, or would anger suppress this critical discussion? She spotted Lisa seated at their table, her fingers wrapped around a steaming cup. The tightness in her friend's shoulders hinted at unreadable emotions. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Martha's mind. What if their friendship wasn't strong enough to endure this storm? Yet, deep inside, a stubborn resolve began to take root. She had spent too long standing in the shadows of uncertainty, and it was time to step into the light of possibility. Martha, Lisa greeted, her voice warm but underscored with tension. Thanks for meeting here. I thought it'd feel different, away from the shop. Yeah, good idea, Martha replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She squeezed the notebook, grounding herself. I've been thinking a lot about our conversation. Silence hung between them. A heavy fog that tinged each optimism filled hope with an undercurrent of doubt. Let us just say it's been hard for me to accept the idea of investors. Why are we even discussing it? Lisa's tone was sharp, yet there was an uncertainty in her posture. She leaned back in her chair, arms crossed defensively. I know this is a lot, Martha began, her voice steadier than she felt. But what if we looked at it as an opportunity? We've worked so hard to create something beautiful. Bringing in investors doesn't mean erasing our legacy. It could mean evolving it. We could blend our strengths with new ideas. Lisa's eyes narrowed, and Martha felt the pressure of judgment seep into the air between them. But why fix what's not broken? We are doing just fine. We already have loyal customers who love what we provide. Why risk it? Every word Lisa uttered reflected the protective instincts that had been nurtured over years of shared struggle. Martha's heart raced. She knew they were at an impasse. But what if fine isn't enough? Other shops are adapting, and I don't want us to become irrelevant. I see so much potential, and I don't want to look back one day regretting that we didn't at least try. The tension shifted in the air, giving weight to Martha's plea. Each word she spoke felt like peeling away layers of a blindfold. With every sentence, she confronted truths buried deep within her fears. This was no longer merely business. It was about redefining and reclaiming her voice in their partnership. Martha saw Lisa's resolve beginning to waver. What do you mean potential? Do you really believe we can expand what we've built? Yes, Martha said, the conviction in her voice surprising even herself. More than anything, I discovered while traveling that there are so many ways to innovate while honoring tradition. Lisa's expression softened slightly, but a shadow remained. You traveled alone though. We've built this business together. It's always been us. Now it feels like you're diverging from the plan. Adrenaline surged within Martha. Maybe that's the point. I've learned skills I didn't even realize I had. I can design new displays, market through social media, and build an online store. I want to lead with you, not apart from you. The confession felt liberating, and with it, a wave of vulnerability washed over her. Lisa regarded her steadily, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. You've always been the creative force, Martha, but change feels like a risk I'm not ready to take. Martha inhaled deeply, determined to lay bare her heart. It's not just change. It's progress, growth, and respecting our roots while we flourish. I refuse to settle for fear of what tomorrow might bring. A long pause imbued the air with heaviness. Martha felt the stakes rise. She had opened a door that could either lead to greater understanding or irreversible fracture. As Lisa shifted slightly, the silence complicated with myriad unspoken thoughts, Martha knew the moment was approaching. A decision awaited them both. Would they weave their paths together, or allow divergent visions to pull them apart? The choice loomed, knotting her stomach with both dread and hope. The shop, their friendship, everything they had built together hung delicately in the balance, teetering on the edge of transformation. The question remained. Would they step forward as partners into an innovative future? Or would they cling tightly to the past, forsaking the opportunity to thrive? Martha met the uncertain gaze of Lisa, and for a moment, the weight of their friendship pressed heavily upon her. This was more than just a business proposal. It was a confrontation with the specter of fear and reluctance that had shadowed both of them for so long. The café, once a backdrop for laughter and dreams, now felt like a battleground for their enduring unity. The metallic clink of cups and the aromatic swirl of coffee failed to relieve the tension. What if we blew this into something beyond the café? Imagine us as a brand recognized for quality and creativity. Martha spoke, letting her ambition hang in the air like a marked territory. Lisa's lips pressed together, her reticence palpable. And what if it all falls apart? Those investors won't care about our feelings. They'll just want profits. Everything we built, it could drain away just like that. Martha swallowed hard, aware that Lisa's fears weren't entirely unfounded. They had built their success on trust and hard work, threading a delicate tapestry of dreams, failures, and resilience. But what if embracing that fear locked them in an eternal shadow, forever missing the chance to grow? There's a chance in every risk. We would have to be strategic. I'm willing to take that gamble, Martha asserted. She could feel her pulse quickening, as though her body responded instinctively to the magnitude of the situation. A fresh perspective could invigorate what we have. We've gotten comfortable, maybe it's time we challenged ourselves. Martha remembered the early days, those late-night discussions fueled by flour sacks and overflowing cups of coffee. They had chased dreams with unyielding fervor, and now, confronted with adversity, she felt an echo of that same yearning. But she had to evoke the urgency if she wanted Lisa to see this through her apprehension. Okay, let us talk specifics, Lisa finally said, reluctantly leaning forward, the walls of her defenses cracking open. But if we do this, it can't just be you chasing ideas alone. It has to be us. An unexpected warmth surged through Martha. Yes, absolutely. We can divvy up responsibilities, operate under our vision, keeping each other on track. They began to brainstorm possibilities, and with every idea that sprung forth, layers of tension began to lift. The conversation meandered through social media campaigns, merchandising ideas, and even potential collaborations with local artists. With each vocalized thought, the realms of potential seemed to expand, evolving from mere whispers of what could be into a tangible sense of creativity. Lisa's initial resistance transformed slowly into cautious, intrigued curiosity, as hope flickered back to life. But beneath this productive exchange, unease simmered. Martha harbored a lingering doubt: would all this talk lead to real change, or would the fear of stepping into the unknown resurface, more vicious than before? The more Martha felt encouraged, the more she questioned if she was ready to fully embrace this new direction. She had discovered latent skills during her travels, yet the idea of bringing others on board, of managing expectations beyond her own, made her stomach twist with anxiety. Martha, Lisa began, her tone steadier than before. What if we invite a few trusted customers to get their feedback? Maybe we arrange some focus groups to see if they think we're moving in the right direction. Brilliant idea. Their input would mean the world to me, Martha replied, optimism blooming. But just as quickly the notion rose. Could she handle other opinions, other voices intertwined in her creative process? As they plotted these next steps together, the moment of truth began to linger in the background. If they were going to pursue this venture and put their friendship at risk, they needed to trust each other completely. This challenge wouldn't just reshape their business. It could redefine them as individuals. Martha envisioned the possibilities ahead, feeling the weight of her silent fears intensify right alongside the excitement. Was she truly ready to involve others, to invite unexpected disruptions into their well-ordered world? With uncertainty pulsing under her thoughts, she could feel the momentum shift. A sense of destiny locked onto her heart. The future had opened itself, but with it came the shadows of responsibility and collaboration. Would she embrace this journey of transformation, inviting vulnerability into her process, or shy away from the very partnerships that could define their collective success? The next steps now loomed large before them, tantalizing and terrifying. Martha took a deep breath, the air thick with the weight of her aspirations. Inviting trusted customers into their brainstorming sessions felt like plunging into icy waters, refreshing, yet completely unnerving. She feared that their honest feedback might puncture the hopeful bubble she and Lisa had just begun to inflate. But still, the budding potential of their ideas compelled her to push forward. The next day, Martha crafted a short message inviting a handful of regular customers to a focus group session. Sitting in her office, she hovered over the keyboard, fingers poised to type. Each word echoed with vulnerability. We want to grow and innovate, and your thoughts matter to us. Could she withstand the scrutiny? As they prepared for the meeting, she noticed Lisa's anxious energy mirroring her own. They exchanged pointed looks, the silent acknowledgement that this leap could upend their usual dynamic shivering in the air. The meeting room was small but cozy, blending coffee aroma with anticipation. A carefully chosen group of familiar faces settled in: the artist who illustrated their menu, a tech-savvy millennial who often chatted about trends, and an older couple who frequented the cafe since its inception. Martha opened the floor, heart pounding. Thank you all for coming. We're looking to enhance what we offer. What do you think? The responses rolled in, thoughtful and candid. The artist brought up the need for online engagement. The millennial suggested a loyalty app that tracked preferences. But amidst the constructive feedback, Martha felt a sharp pang of defensiveness when the older couple hesitated, exchanging glances. We love the cafe just as it is. Why fix what isn't broken? They queried, their eyes piercing her resolve. Martha's insides twisted. Could she stand firm amidst their discomfort? Reminding herself that stagnation wasn't an option? They could stay small and safe, or strive for something more, a notion she had to grapple with. With every suggestion the group made, her mind danced between excitement and trepidation. More than once she caught herself wanting to argue against their ideas. What did they know about running a cafe? But with each grip of doubt, she remembered Lisa's warnings. The need for collaboration, for shared views that might broaden their horizons. Gradually, as breakfast turned into a constructive critique session, clarity seeped into her psyche. What if we merged some of these ideas? A pop-up event to showcase local artists, coupled with a launch for a loyalty app, she suggested, wrestling with her preconceived notions. And just like that, the meeting transformed from uncertainty into a brainstorming explosion of new ideas. Their fears started to melt away, revealing enthusiasm and camaraderie. Lisa smiled at Martha. A silent approval exchanged, a bond that deepened amidst shared vulnerability. When the session concluded, gratitude filled the room. Walking back to the cafe, Martha tuned into the chatter. Excitement buzzed. She felt different, something shifting inside her, not just the business but her perspective. This is only the beginning, she thought, feeling the weight of possibility mapping itself onto her ambitions. Yet, a lingering fear gnawed at her. The world outside was larger than she could ever anticipate. She sensed a creeping dread of stepping outside her comfort zone. Would they adopt these ambitious plans and forsake long-held rituals? The cafe was a home, a sanctuary. Was it wise to risk it all for something untested? That night, tossing and turning in bed, she faced her demons. The metaphorical walls of her previous comfort zone pressed down heavily. This was more than just her cafe, it was her legacy. A carving of her identity. What if she lost the very essence of her creation? With the dawn's light creeping through her curtains, a realization crystallized: hiding behind fear would achieve nothing. Vulnerability could be a powerful catalyst for growth. Rejuvenated resolve ignited the spark of determination within her. Yet, the moment she embraced that realization was also the moment she questioned whether Lisa would embrace it too. Was she also ready for this leap? Or would she retreat to safety? The next meeting with her partner would be pivotal. Shadows of doubt loomed, whispers of distrust nipping at the edges. There was more to uncover, more to explore within themselves and their budding venture. How would they navigate this turning point, and what revelations awaited them as they delved deeper? The answers seemed both tantalizing and terrifying, threading the line between friendship and ambition. The next morning felt charged with uncertainty as Martha entered the café. The vibrant sunlight streaming through the windows starkly contrasted the heavy gravity of her thoughts. She made her way to the back office, her heart drumming in uneasy anticipation for the conversation with Lisa. It wasn't just about the café anymore. It was about what they each wanted, both personally and professionally. Sitting at her desk, she scrolled through the notes taken during the focus group session. Ideas intertwined with too familiar fears manifested in clusters of scribbled thoughts. What if we fail? Battling with what if we soar? Gone was the naive comfort that had once cocooned her. With every line the tension thickened. Her dreams hung delicately in the balance, teetering between ambition and safety. Let us talk. Lisa's voice cut through the silence, pulling Martha from her spiraling thoughts. She looked up to find Lisa standing in the doorway, her posture tight, worry etched across her features. Yeah, we need to, Martha replied, motioning for her to sit down. The clatter of their chairs echoed against the walls, amplifying the looming conversation. I've been thinking about our meeting yesterday, Lisa started, her voice softening, yet always tinged with caution. What if we lose our essence? The café has always felt like this intimate space inviting the outside in. Is that really what we want? Martha felt a twinge of frustration surge within her. Lisa's words were laced with concern, yes, but also with a fear that echoed her own. But what if we stagnate? She challenged, the edge in her tone unmistakable. We can preserve the essence while evolving. The customers want more R&T. We obligated to listen? Lisa leaned back, arms crossed defensively. The silence draped heavily, and Martha's stomach knotted as doubts clouded her resolve. This was not just a conversation about a café. This was a test of their partnership, of everything they built together against every risk they had ever avoided in the name of comfort. Pushing herself, Martha steadied her breath. We've both said we want to grow. This is what growth looks like. What do you want out of all this? Not the café but your career, your ambitions? Lisa's expression shifted, uncertainty morphing into contemplation. The slightest twitch in her brow suggested Martha had struck a chord. Moments passed like hours. Finally, Lisa's voice broke through. I want to feel secure. I've sacrificed a lot to be part of this, Martha. What if this new direction jeopardizes that? What if we lose our spark? Martha bit back an urge to defend the necessity of change. Instead, she chose to lower her defenses. You're right. Change can be scary. But isn't it also an opportunity for us to deepen what we've built? Embrace the unknown? A flicker of hope ignited as she saw Lisa exhale slowly, her tension easing as she toyed with the edge of her notepad, searching for the right words. I want us to thrive, but I also want to feel safe, understood. As much as it pained her, Martha recognized the sentiment. Then let us find a way to do both, she suggested, prompting an idea. What if we approach this transition gradually? Test the waters before diving in? We can keep the café's heart alive while incorporating these ideas at our pace. Lisa's gaze met Martha's, uncertainty slowly morphing into intrigue. Are you sure? Navigating this sounds complicated. It is, Martha admitted, her voice steadying with newfound confidence. And we're in this together. But I believe we both have the capacity to adapt. If we do this, it can be managed. But we have to be open, honest, and brave. They both sat in contemplative silence, grappling with the weight of possibility laid before them. The café was more than just a business. It was a reflection of their identities, and what they wanted their legacies to exemplify. Feeling the tension transform into a shared intent, Martha sensed the dawn of a new chapter ahead. They needed to confront their fears together without losing sight of what was essential to them. But as their resolve began to solidify, a disquieting thought flickered in Martha's mind. What if this cautious approach still wasn't enough to shield them from the unpredictability of change? Let us set a timeline, Lisa proposed, a glimmer of excitement breaking through. If this is the path we want to take, let us commit to it for 3 months. If it doesn't feel right, we recalibrate. Martha nodded, appreciating the balance in Lisa's suggestion. But would this exploratory phase reveal their differences more than their synergies? Would the changes they interwove pull them apart instead of pulling together? With those questions surging around in her mind, Martha sensed the path they forged ahead was riddled with complexities yet to unveil. Where would the journey lead them next? The following days were a delicate dance, a tightrope walk between hope and apprehension. Martha felt a nagging tension as the cafe transitioned into this new phase. Ideas bounced around like ping-pong balls, vibrant but chaotic, feeding her restlessness. As she swept the floor that morning, her mind couldn't shake the implications of the changes they had discussed. Would their experiment preserve the soul of the cafe, or would it fracture the very foundation of what they had both worked tirelessly to build? Lisa had taken to promoting their new offerings with hesitation. She crafted enticing descriptions and tempting visuals for social media. But there was an underlying reluctance each time she hit post. Martha admired her caution. It stemmed from a place of care. But that same care seemed to be stifling the growth they had both set their sights on. One evening, as they prepared for the weekend rush, the air filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with baked pastries, Martha turned to Lisa, her voice firm but calm. What if we host a sample tasting to engage our regulars? A chance for feedback before we fully roll out the new menu? Lisa lifted an eyebrow, skepticism written all over her face. Are we ready for that level of exposure? What if they don't react well? Martha sensed the worry seeping through Lisa's words, but she pressed on, driven by a mixture of resolve and inspiration. That's the point. We need to know what resonates. Otherwise, how will we adapt? We have to embrace this discomfort. That's part of the growth. Lisa bit her lip, wavering between agreement and fear. And if we fall flat on our faces, then we learn, Martha countered, her voice gaining momentum. Learning is how we evolve. We can't shackle ourselves to comfort. We owe it to ourselves to take this leap and see where it leads. The hesitation in Lisa's eyes slowly morphed into a flicker of curiosity. You make it sound so easy. Martha chuckled lightly, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. It's not about easy, it's about necessary. If we believe in the vision we have for the cafe, we owe it to ourselves and to our customers to be brave. With a reluctant nod, Lisa finally smiled, albeit cautiously. Okay, let us do it. A tasting. But under one condition. Let us make it a cozy gathering, keeping true to our essence. Martha's heart lifted, exhilaration flooding her senses. Exactly. We can still invite feedback without losing our intimate charm. As they set the plans in motion, Martha felt a shift within herself. This wasn't just about the cafe. It was about nurturing her growth alongside Lisa's. Every decision was a step into the unknown, but the spark of possibility ignited a newfound confidence. She realized she was learning to embrace the tangibility of risk. Yet, as more changes began to materialize, intermittent unease shadowed the once bright horizon. Moments alone with her thoughts turned tumultuous. Layers of self-doubt surfaced. Was she truly prepared for the recoil of their ambitions? What if her eagerness overwhelmed the fragile balance they both needed to navigate? Then something snapped inside Martha. In that swirl of self-reflection and anxiety, she resolved to confront it. She'd never been one for backing down. She wouldn't let uncertainty dictate her pace. Instead, she began to outline a clear path forward, one that would integrate her vision with Lisa's exhausting instincts for caution. But the crucial step remained before her. Sharing her newfound resolve with Lisa. How would her partner react to Martha's intense motivation? Would Lisa see it as support or as a threat? With the tasting event on the horizon, the stakes felt amplified. Martha stood at the crossroad of transformation, ready to navigate what lay ahead. As she prepped the cafe with new decor and enticing signage, a mix of excitement and dread pulsed through her veins. Could she advocate constructively while honoring Lisa's fears? The answer lingered just out of reach, simmering under the surface. It was clear to Martha that the unveiling of their evolving vision would challenge not only their café's identity, but the very fabric of their partnership. The moment to confront the growing friction was near. Would they emerge stronger? Or was the tension fracturing them beneath the surface? Martha could only hope they were brave enough to face whatever awaited. As Martha stood amidst the familiar warmth of the café, excitement surged within her. The tasting event loomed ahead, a culmination of their efforts to blend the shop's cherished legacy with fresh innovation. Each moment incrementally shaped her confidence, yet a flicker of anxiety echoed in the back of her mind. What if Lisa struggled to embrace the shift? They had crafted a collective vision, but was it strong enough to withstand the uncertainties? The day arrived, and the café buzzed with anticipation. The aroma of baked goods wafted through the air, mingling with freshly brewed coffee and inviting allure for regulars and newcomers alike. As guests filtered in, Martha caught glimpses of their eager faces, a reflection of their shared commitment to preserving this beloved space. This was the moment where her vision could take flight. She needed to push past the cusp of fear and reach towards potential. Lisa stood near the entrance, her eyes scanning the room with a mixture of admiration and apprehension. Martha approached her, determination replacing any lingering doubt. "This is it. We've done the work. Now let us share it with them," she urged, her voice resonating with encouragement. Taking a deep breath, Lisa nodded, yet uncertainty shadowed her posture. "I just hope they see it the way we do," she admitted, a tremor in her voice revealing the apprehension she carried. But this was the moment for reassurance, and Martha understood that their partnership needed to channel courage. Worry less about the reactions and more about the opportunity to grow. "Let's celebrate what we've accomplished together," Martha reassured, a newfound resolve echoing in her tone as the tasting began. Guests filled their plates with various dishes from their proposed new menu while engaging in light-hearted conversation. Martha felt the warmth of community envelop the café, a tangible reminder of their intentions to create a space that honored the past while nurturing the future. After the initial round of sampling, it was time for feedback. Hushed whispers turned into animated discussions as guests began sharing their thoughts. The feedback was a blend of enthusiastic praises and constructive critiques. Martha felt invigorated witnessing the reactions unfold. Painting her vision through the canvas of this event soothed the remnants of her earlier worries. That moment, she caught Lisa's eye. Their gazes locked with unspoken acknowledgement. They were navigating this landscape together, and every bit of feedback elaborated their journey forward. "They really like it," Lisa exclaimed as a group of patrons complimented her on the new offerings. Tension gradually dissipated as the evening unfolded. Martha's excitement turned to pride as their efforts garnered appreciation, and she realized she had successfully registered a shared vision, a fusion of their aspirations as partners rather than just as individual forces. Lisa also began to shine, embracing her pivotal role in orchestrating this experience. The night's end, the atmosphere was electric. Guests lingered, a sense of belonging weaving through the air. Martha felt an inner sense of fulfillment wash over her. It was a marked transition from fear to accomplishment. They had embraced the daunting unknown and emerged stronger. As Lisa approached, Martha could see the shift in her demeanor, a lightness, a sense of accomplishment reflected in her smile. "We did it, didn't we? People are really excited about the direction." Lisa's voice sparkled with enthusiasm, a remarkable transformation swirling between them. Martha smiled, feeling the gap that once separated them dissipating with each moment of shared success. "Yes, we did. This is just the beginning, and we can take it even further." With newfound conviction, she knew they could continue blending history and innovation, their aspirations intertwining more deeply than ever. Thus, as Martha walked home that evening, satisfaction washed over her. She had faced her fears and taken decisive action, demonstrating that personal growth equated to forging collaborative paths with those around her. The café wasn't merely a business, it was a testament to her journey, resonating with the richness of connection and ambition. Moving forward, Martha embraced the promise of what lay ahead. She was confident, capable, and ready for the challenges that awaited beneath the surface, knowing that together with Lisa, they could continue to expand their legacy while integrating their dreams of the future. This was the elevated achievement she had longed for: genuine alignment with her partner, coupled with the recognition of her talents and commitment to meaningful growth. Through this experience, she had not only solidified her position within their joint venture, but also reclaimed a sense of belonging rooted in trust and innovation. The future was bright, and Martha stepped forward, ready to carve a new legacy, one embracing the past while daring to stretch toward the horizon. She had become both a curator of history and an architect of the future, a duality that felt perfectly balanced, a harmonious reflection of all she aspired to be. As she closed the door behind her, Martha smirked and took a deep breath, feeling gratitude wash over as she stepped into an exciting new world that celebrated change while honoring tradition. Now it's your moment to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories that inspire personal transformations like Martha's. Don't let fear hold you back. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us share these empowering tales further. Comment your reactions and theories about how Martha's journey unfolds. You never know who might relate. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion, because this story is a testament to the power of overcoming. Don't wait even one more second. Show your support for personal growth.